What's up, everybody? You say what's up.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
This is Going Local Podcast, and this is our number X episode because we're not sure at what time this released.
We don't even know if that's the name of the podcast yet.
You're exactly right. But that shows that you're a part of this at the beginning. And this is about the only time we're going to talk to you because today we are talking with Eliot Hamerman, an extraordinaire of many things, including Burgundy wines, long walks in the beach, and fine cigars. And we also have Gabe Harris. Gabe Harris is in the house. What's up, Gabe?
What's up, Brandon? Good to have you.
Thanks for the intro, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're rolling into this thing. Eliot Hamerman to our side. We'll call it our south side. Who the hell are you? Why is anyone going to care?
Oh, well, I don't know. I like to smoke great cigars and drink great wines and surround myself with great people. Besides that, I run a few companies and, just try to make it day by day.
I think that's our connection has been, we were just talking about it many years ago, over half a decade ago, if we just want to make it sound longer than it is, but about 6 years ago we met. We've developed a really cool personal relationship and professional relationship, and you own Solar Contract Carpeting is your mainstay.
Main thing, yep.
And what is it?
We do floor covering to multifamily and light commercial stuff, and so that's primarily day to day. And we operate in several markets, and that's pretty much the story of that.
It seems overly simplified, but when you could see that stuff, for instance, we've had the pleasure of going up and working with you. And we'll talk about that as well. But Gabe, what was your biggest kind of takeaway
from our trip to Detroit? I was probably the fullest I've ever been after that meal we had at the steakhouse.
Oh yeah,
that's actually something you forgot about, which is the biggest lesson to learn about Eliot Hamerman is never go to dinner with Eliot Hamerman.
He treats we're at ICC, which I don't know if we said that yet, but he has a reputation of treating people to extravagant dinners. And the first one I experienced almost left me in a coma. I almost couldn't complete the work weekend that we had.
We definitely, yeah, I'm glad neither of us drove home. But the good thing is you really get into this because overall this podcast is really finding its way and what it's going to be. But I think the most important thing is some of the concepts that local businesses, national businesses, international can take into play. And I think one thing that's very important that I've seen within you that I haven't seen anywhere else is the concept of treating someone better than you expect to be treated back.
100%.
Will you talk about that and how you integrate that thought process into your professional life?
Well, it's a simple concept. If I treat people better, ultimately my goal in life is to make sure everybody else is taken care of. And so once everybody else is taken care of, I'm hoping there'll be a few crumbs left for me. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me. What's actually matters to me is that everybody's taken care of, everybody has a good time, and that's really it. And in the professional side, when you take care of your employees, when you take care of everybody involved, they want to come to work. They want to work harder, not only for you, for themselves, for their family, for everything. I mean, it just motivates them to do better when they feel that they're treated amazing and not necessarily they've done everything for you because it's not expected. But the reality is if it's just a good motto. The more you can treat other people better, the more they'll perform for you.
Yeah,
that's really the truth.
I remember going in there and just seeing everybody's face light up when they saw you, and I thought it was interesting because you live here in Frisco and the location was in Detroit. I don't know how often you go there, but it was just the excitement. It was genuine excitement when people saw you. And,
absolutely.
And you do have multiple locations. How many locations are you?
Well, we actually, for the floor covering side, we operate out of 2 locations, but multiple states out of those 2 locations.
And it's cool because these same people that were lit up to talk about you, it wasn't the first time. It wasn't because you signed their check. It wasn't this.
Right.
It's because when we ask the people who have been there, they've been there for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and they've been working at the same desk, the same operation, same everything for 20 years. How do you retain those people? How do you retain employees in a world that turnover is exceedingly cumbersome?
That just, it all comes down to culture. Aside from me, I mean, it's the people that we hire that follow that same culture, that have those same ideals. And the reason people want to stay is because they feel like, even though it's outside of a family, it still feels like a family, no different than ICC is. And so that's the main reason, I think. I think if if you hire the right people that have the same type of motto, the same type of values, and that treat other people with the same respect and the same, giving mentality, that people want to work for you. And that's the bottom line, because a lot of people can work anywhere. It's they choose to where they work because of, how they feel every day, how they like the people that they work with and the people they work for.
What would you say is that's obviously a wise thing to say. Is there a time that you can think of where maybe you stepped on a landmine? It could be personnel perspective. It could be, I shouldn't have done that. Is there a time where you look back and you see it and it just stings you to think about, I shouldn't have done that, or I'm definitely going to learn from it?
I mean, I think that you learn things every day, and there may be things that I step on using that mentality every day. And the best thing I can say is that whatever those things may be, you have to learn from those. You have to this goes with the term of failures. I'd say you have to celebrate your failures along with celebrating your successes, because that's how you get better. If you look at any solid business or business owner, everybody's had failures, and it's how you move forward from the failures or move forward from the not hitting your goals, and that's what defines people and defines companies.
I'm with you. I think that's a cool thing. I don't know what your thoughts are of what you've seen. It seems like a pretty simple operation with Solar Contract, but
yeah, and I mean, what we did for you was pretty surface level. We did a video,
right?
And this was kind of pretty far back. This was what, 2017, 16?
Somewhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so what is your actual day-to-day with them? What do you do? Because I know that, the hospitality is amazing. I remember Begley, Brandon's mom, just the excitement that she had when she was putting together your Christmas order that you
Right.
placed. That was like the biggest order she had ever had, and she filled that entire warehouse out with stuff. I mean, what is your job other than just treating people?
that's what it seems like.
Well, that's what I try to do daily. Interaction-wise, we kind of run with the concept as a company. We let people to have as much autonomy as possible, and so when how I get involved is, basically I get involved with the management level people on a day-to-day basis, and just they tell me where they're at and what they're doing, and and they may come to me with questions for whatever their issues may be. But sometimes, I like to spend calling our customer service people and different people in the organization just as kind of a check, see how they're doing, because it's important that people feel important, and they are an important part of the company. They are. It's not just the management and not just the top level people that are important. It's everybody, from the person that works in the warehouse all the way through the top level of the organization. You have to treat everybody with the same respect, because without every job and without every role, we wouldn't be where we are. And so that's the day-to-day thing for me, aside from, all the fun stuff like the financials, the back office and all those things. It's a motivational role in terms of making sure everybody is, keeping within the company culture, and that making sure everybody feels like they're not on an island and they're part of the team and they're important. And that's basically it.
How big is the company?
So we have about 100 employees, and so across different states, and so, yeah.
And did your dad?
Yeah. So my dad started the business several years back, and then together together and independently, we've done several expansions and sales and all kinds of different stuff. So we've started organically. We've bought businesses. We've done all kinds of stuff through the years, and it just it's all a matter of timing. And so when the time's right to buy or the time's right to sell, we do those things.
Mm. I'm just kind of interested in the scalability of it, because I know how big it is, and I don't know when you started with it, how much has it grown since then? Because it's a huge operation now.
Right. So it's actually been scaled lots larger before. We several years back, we were a much larger entity than we are today. It's not always about size for us. It's about getting the right balance of everything, as far as employee count, market area, and then time for us and what we want to do in our initiatives within the company and outside the company. So
yeah, it's an interesting thing. You think this infinite scalability model,
right?
You don't think about this ebb and flow and identifying when it's time to scale up, scale back, understand where you're at, because those needs might not be there always.
Absolutely.
And it just comes down to what I'm hearing is efficiency. Efficiency runs it, and how effective can you be? And you see that
within that,
even inside of the details of a reason why you guys are more profitable and more successful is you have less waste. You take in more detail.
Right. And so, our process level detail, just being in the business for so long, that's been one of the things that has made us so successful, is all of the processes that we follow day to day. And it does help with all the years of experience, because there's, like, going back to what we were talking about before, you learn so much each and every day. And so the longer that you're doing this business, the more you understand it and the more you can do it more successfully.
I'm curious because I know a lot of local businesses and business owners now are getting this flood of millennial workers. Do you have many younger workers that come into this? How do you balance? Because that's a whole different mindset.
It is a different mindset.
How do you employ millennial workers? What is your mindset with younger workers?
Well, it goes with everything. We want to work with people to get the most productivity and the most performance. We do need them to integrate with our culture and the way we flow as well. So we have to find the balance. But, if something works for somebody that may not work for someone else, we try to make that work for them. COVID's been really interesting because we have a lot of workers that work remotely now. And so, which has been great for some of those millennial workers, because they like doing that. It gives them even more freedom and more autonomy. And in many regards, we found that some roles can continue to work remotely, should they want to, and we want to continue that. But as far as millennial workers, I feel you have to balance their needs with your needs and find what fits for them and what fits for the company, and in some kind of compromise. But yeah, it definitely is different from somebody that is 50 to 60 years old to somebody that's 20 years old coming into the business. They want to manage themselves, their time differently, to manage how they communicate with customers, how they communicate with employees. Some people prefer the telephone, some people prefer texting and computing. It's all different, and we have a little bit of luxury of trying to work with both of those styles. But we are probably, as far as technology is concerned, we're probably in our industry the most highly technological company out there for our industry. We do things that other people don't do technology-wise.
Interesting. So yeah, you think about flooring, you think about carpet, you think
Right.
about vinyl flooring. You don't think about technology, do you? But it is definitely that.
What are some of the things that you do?
Well, so it's just all a matter of leveraging technology to make every role more efficient, to make the company more efficient, and to make each job actually more efficient. So as far as technology is concerned, we run an entirely Citrix-based environment. So everybody that has computer access pretty much can do their work from an iPad, from a laptop, from anywhere, literally anywhere, and have access to everything. And then now there is some synergies that are obtained by people being within an office environment, because then you're not sending 10 emails to communicate with somebody that normally sits 5 feet from you. Mm-hmm. But as far as technology is concerned, is on the production side in terms of getting people and crews out. iPad-based installers, same thing. They can get their work on an iPad. And as far as carpet rolls and carpet racks, which the both of you have seen that, we're getting ready to go completely iPad-based with that as well, so that even the wrong rolls can't be pulled from the forklift to be cut and all that same thing. And same with the cutting machines; they won't cut the rolls if everything doesn't match up, if it doesn't scan in right, and all that. So there's some technology stuff that's kind of behind the scenes that customers would never see, but it makes us more efficient and it makes our people more efficient.
And it works out best for the customer as well,
right?
Because
It
they're
does.
not getting the wrong.
Right, they're not getting the wrong goods, and then and they're getting it more efficiently. Hopefully, we can be more get their work out quicker to them and stuff. We do same day service, so. But it also really helps our installation crews, because they're not wasting time waiting around, things like that, getting the wrong stuff and having to, wait on the correct stuff to be delivered. So there's a lot of efficiencies. Most of all of that is behind the scenes, but we have put a lot of customer focus as well, as far as notification systems for our customers, letting them know when somebody is on the way, when they're on site, once they leave. They all can get text notifications or email notifications. So that way they're informed, because many times the customer may not even see our people because they're in apartment units and things like that. So they may not know when they arrive, when they leave, and all that. And it just keeps them in the loop and informed. And so without them having to make a phone call to kind of find out, hey, what's going on? Or where's your guy? And if somebody's running late or whatever, it'll also tell them that, hey, somebody's running 45 minutes late, but they're still coming, or whatever. It just kind of, the more that we can communicate with our customer, the better. And very few people have systems to do that in our industry right now. It's common in other things, but it's just not really common in our industry.
Yeah, customer service is a make or break right now. I mean, it's not easy to get the communication done, but just it's easy for older style companies to relax and just do what they've always done, but to be innovative and ahead of the game, it says so much when you just know that your customer support's going to be handling everything. And
yeah, and today, and especially given the business environment of COVID, all businesses have had to adapt and change, and it's even more important to have a bond and a connection with your customer that maybe the next guy doesn't have. Mm-hmm. So it's critical. Being customer focused is the most important thing. To me, it's come out of COVID. How important that relationship is with your customer.
Well, it gives them that sense of mind. It gets them, give them that sense of peace that they're taken care of. One, but I think you can see this within the other businesses. You have this adapt or die, which is legitimate at this point. You figure it out, you do it. But if you can do it while you're still smiling and still having fun with it, that's where, to me, is a key integral part of your personality, which echoes throughout your business, which is balancing fun with business. Mm-hmm. And we've had, I think, when we've worked together, it's awesome because it seems to be that perfect balance of get what we need to get done, but also have fun. Well, I think we have plenty of stories, but maybe that's just a good segue to talk about, what's the coolest thing that you've seen, Gabe, within working with Solar Contract with Eliot?
From a business perspective?
No, definitely not.
I mean, I'm going to take a step back because in the situation that I'm talking about, I did have my passport. Though I was one of the 3 people who brought my passport knowing that we might go to Canada when we visited Detroit.
I didn't even know it was that close.
I mean, who would have thought you need a passport to go to a different country?
So why don't you, because
Eliot, why don't you talk about what happened? And
well, before we left on this journey to go up to Detroit, we had mentioned that we might go to Canada. Somehow or another, me and Brandon just didn't bring our passports. I don't even know why, honestly. But
we're going to be busy.
Yeah.
And it never crossed your mind that the trip to Canada might not happen. It was still just, we did this in high school. We'll be fine.
We're going to be no problem. So, needless to say, after working one day, we were driving around downtown Detroit, and we literally, I don't even think we had a plan to necessarily go to Canada, but we drove.
I think we drove past it.
Right, we drove past the bridge, and we're like, "That's the bridge to Canada." So I remember we looped back around, and we're like, "Yeah, I mean, we should definitely do it." And we're like, we didn't have our passports, and
that's not what the Border Patrol agent said.
Yeah,
if we're being fair,
right? They weren't so thrilled with all this, so it was interesting actually talking to the Border Patrol on the way in about, hey, is this going to be a problem? And they weren't too thrilled, but they actually said, we could go on, and so we our first encounter was with the Canadian Border Patrol.
Not all Canadians are friendly.
No, and
especially when you have your wife who just got done giving birth, so you have your wife's pain pills in your backpack, and then they search your car. Just in case anyone's wondering, they search your car if you go to another country without a passport. That seems to be standard operating procedure.
That would be the case. So, needless to say, after an extensive search and some explaining, we were able to get into Canada, and so we did find a nice shop to buy a few cigars at in Canada.
And a few is a choice word there.
It depends on in what quantity you're bunching a few. It could be boxes, it could be cases,
everything is relative. But to Eliot, it was a few cigars.
Right, it was just a few, and I tried to explain it to the U.S. Border Patrol on the return that we may have a few cigars.
Well, and also just to back up a little bit, we finagled our way into Canada, stopped at a cigar lounge and said, all right, let's go back to Detroit. So it was literally, it was a 2-hour stamp?
If that. I think we stopped also in a coffee shop. And you know that feeling when you were a kid, my kids or my parents said, when the street lights come on, you better be inside. But you are way too far away from home when the street lights come on, and you're just thinking, how the hell am I getting back in this house? That's the feeling I had for the solid 90 minutes we were there. And then you had purchased many cigars, a few.
And not just any cigars.
Right.
The only cigars we're not supposed to bring back into the country.
Right, yeah.
And then we stop with the Border Patrol, and we go, let's be respectful. We're doing something illegal. They're letting us get by. Eliot didn't share that mindset. He thought, let's see how funny we can be. I'm going to speak for all of us here. Eliot was you were the funniest person you've ever met.
Yeah, of course, always.
Boy, that turned into a real shakedown too, because then you get searched on the other sid of the road, right?
Yeah, and that one was worse.
And that's when the first time I heard you ever call 100 cigars a few cigars.
Yeah.
And it was to a Border Patrol who then followed up, well, how many is a few? To which...
Yeah, well, I was just, telling them my thoughts, along with a few other things possibly.
You would be a terrible drug smuggler.
Yeah, terrible.
We just saw. I mean, we saw this unfold right in front of our face. What does it look like to absolutely get caught smoking
So
drugs?
if anybody has any questions, the U.S. government does serious shakedowns on people, including the residents of their country. It does happen.
Even if you don't have proof, you're actually a resident.
Right. Even
if you just say you're American.
Right. I was just trying to explain to them, listen, we're American here. But they weren't buying that. They may have heard that before from someone else.
So we go through Border Patrol. We tell them we have a few cigars. They ask a follow-up, to which we say we have more than a few. Yeah. They make us pull over to search the car, and we were there for a while.
Longer than we were in Canada.
Yeah, longer than we were in Canada.
We were in a different part of this. Just imagine a Greyhound bus station if the prison just got broken out with people next to the Greyhound bus. This was not a friendly location. We were getting looks from everyone.
No, yeah, it was.
And you never got that smile out of your face the entire time.
And you could see him behind the counter, like, I'm shaking that smile. I'm shaking that smile.
Right, yeah. It just, I was just trying to, get us back home. But at that point, the problem is I don't know. I just kind of have my own way of getting it done.
And then it ended with you having to pay almost the same amount that you bought the cigars for in taxes to get them back over.
Right, but which they still did, to this day, obviously did not prove that how they came up with that calculation. I'm pretty sure that our U.S. government agent, and his buddies back there took that money home and split it. But I'm sure the government never saw any of that.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them. But the best part of the whole thing was we got to keep the cigars.
I don't think we even smoked any of those cigars.
No, I don't think so. It was really just about getting them back over.
So that accomplishment and that feat is something I'll definitely tell my grandkids.
Oh, for sure. Today, when we did it even in 2017 or whatever that was, it's still a pretty good feat to, go to another country without the passport and make it back.
And bring back illegal products.
Right. and get to keep them. But
I regret having my passport for that trip because I still have to do that now.
Yeah, see? Now you...
Yeah, exactly. You didn't cross that off the bucket list.
Right. You still... yeah. So if anybody is contemplating going to another country without your passport, I'd probably, in today's world, definitely say no.
But if you're going to do it, do it in Canada.
Yeah, don't do it on the Mexico side because you may have a few more problems down there.
Yeah, I think you're right. But all the way through that entire project that we did, which was web build, it was video, it was that you guys those who are watching can see the work on solarcarpet.com. Video, it was just an absolute blast that we got to go through and to see that come to life and to. Also, my favorite was breaking into a bunch of old factories in
that was
Detroit. Do you remember walking to that one on the second floor?
I've never felt like a dog with my tail between my legs more than when I saw that person's eye peeking through.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm thinking of a different time. I think I'm thinking of the one building. We got up to the second floor. We went in. And you came running back and said, "There's a body in there."
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, it was that.
It was
right?
that time. I was walking through the hallway, and I kind of look into a room, and then behind a door, all I can see is just the white eyeball of somebody looking at me through the door. And the guide who was
my general manager.
He's general manager.
Is his name Doug?
Yeah, Mike.
Mike. That's what I said.
Yeah. I've just never felt like a bigger.
Yeah.
Explicit, and just ran behind Mike, knowing he had a gun, and he just said, "Hey, we're just touring the buildings." But I didn't even know Detroit was in that condition. Like, I'd never been.
Oh, and
there.
that was the better part of the conditions I think that we were in.
Yeah, by the Roosevelt there.
Yeah,
but we also drove through some of the areas
that were not so good. So that as challenging or rough as that was probably one of the better areas that we were in.
Absolute ruins.
Yeah, it's crazy though. Some cool old buildings, great photography, and
just like untouched. Like that room we went into that had all the VHS tapes in it. That was it felt like we were in in an apocalypse scene.
I still have those coasters. You remember we pulled over that box of VHSs and there were those coasters and we started grabbing some. I still have one here with me. It was cool to bring that stuff back. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's finding the balance between making sure that you have fun within any project and within anything that we do together. I know we rest assured that we're going to have some fun in doing what we do, and how that echoes and brings back into your daily.
And it would have been so easy for you to not pitch that to us. You could have easily said, let's go there, let's get the work done, let's have a dinner, let's head home. But instead you're like, we should go check this out. You guys haven't been to Detroit?
Right.
Let me treat you guys to an experience that you've never seen. And I mean, it to this day is still one of my favorite trips, just because it was just so foreign, and to find out this is what a part of the United States looks like, it was very unique to me.
Well, it's something that we've spoken about.
Yeah. And right behind. We have
photography that we use in ICC, and those of you who are listening, ICC is Industrial Cigar Company, and a lot of our inspiration photography and stuff that we've used is from that trip. And it's turned into a thing that I just can't wait to find another opportunity to work with you and do something where it opens the door to do something else. So we were able to go to Vegas together in Solar, see Ryan Dungey's last Supercross race, which was for me the crown jewel.
Which I'm sure Brandon had no part in that. You probably just surprised him with that.
Yeah. I think that was one that I made an executive. I think I might have just bought all of our tickets.
I think you did.
I think so. We got to go.
No, I would say 2021, we definitely need to do some new initiatives. I know we've been talking about them, and in 2021 could be doing something that's out of the box for us, as we've kind of discussed, that in a new area of growth for our business, the flooring business, and something that other people aren't really doing, and this is the right team to lead it.
Well, and the concept of it is really cool, which I really like that people who are listening can gravitate towards, which is, how do you maximize, let me put it this way, how do you minimize waste and maximize opportunity? And this, as you get to older stuff, if you want to talk, and we don't have to talk too much of the details, but what was your mindset to go, let's take our trash and turn it into dollars?
Right. So the whole concept is finding new avenues, different ways to use material that is not necessarily obsolete, that is just older than new material, I will say. But to find different ways to sell even current material as well, not just old stuff, but it's just finding out how to use every remaining good that's in the warehouse. So it's not just sitting there, it's not just dating, and there's a need for it, and there are people that want this product, and this is finding the right avenue and channels to get it to them in an efficient way that's efficient for them and efficient for us. And it's something that other people in the industry aren't doing right now.
Yeah, it's a pivot.
Yeah, and so how much of your time is devoted to solar, and then how much is to other projects? Because we've worked with you specifically on your shirt, the Lucky 13 project, and vested in management.
Right. So right now, I would say a good majority of the time is dedicated to solar, just given the business environment right now, with COVID and everything changing day by day in our business, in our industry, and all that. So that's kind of reshifted the focus back to this business right now. But yeah, there's definitely some opportunities coming up for other projects as well, in other ventures.
Yeah, I dig it. What are the thing that, how much about this project do you know? You know a pretty decent amount, right?
The project just...
Yeah, with the solar project.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it kind of is just leveraging the COVID, unfortunate COVID standings that you're in, but it's kind of leveraging just the online presence and being more of a kind of
I think that's my favorite. And forgive me for just tossing that out there open, but my mindset is it's really cool because going and doing things that are in our pocket and our wheelhouse are fun, and we know them, and we know the process, and we know how to deliver that. And this is cool because it's something that is relatively new to us, that activates new people, that helps us scale effectively, efficiently, and in the right areas. So for understanding where you know and where your mindset is, understanding this is going to be a little bit different than what our normal is, what is your approach to pull the veil back a little bit, or the curtain back, and let people see behind the curtain of when you get a new project, where does your mindset go, or what's your thought process specifically with maybe this project?
Yeah, well, I mean, just the opportunity to kind of, I mean, it's not necessarily a rebrand, but just retargeting and refocusing on a different clientele, and it's almost kind of a ground up. It feels like a brand build.
It is a brand build, pretty much.
Yeah,
I would say.
And it's kind of just like a white label version of it, and I think it's just a cool chance for you to engage with a different clientele and really leverage us for exactly what we're used for, which is a little bit different than kind of what
right
you're used to.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a total different. When this project is completed, it'll be a total different channel than we've been marketing to ever. And so the customer base will be entirely different than than the current customer base, and it's leveraging technology again, in getting things sold, and totally different than the way we operate our current channel.
So pivoting on that, what advice would you give to somebody who maybe has a business that's being challenged right now? Maybe they're hitting roadblocks that they didn't ever see coming. What would your global 30,000 foot view advice be to any business owner, any manager, any decision maker of how to make it in 2020, 2021 now, in this new environment we live in?
Well, first and foremost, understand your company, understand your people, leverage not only your people, but leverage your people in terms of making them understand that they're important each and every day for whatever it is coming to work in a challenging business environment. And then it really makes sure that you have and solidify relationships with your customers. And I would put a lot of customer focus in during this time, because customers, they don't want to feel like they're out on an island, and they want to understand and know that somebody is there for them during the challenging times, that can service them, that can help them, and that will do things that maybe the next guy down the road won't do for them, that won't take care of them when they need it today, or when they need something tomorrow, or whatever it may be in your business. But the biggest thing in today's business environment is making sure that your cost structure aligns with your sales goals and everything else, because all of that is so much more important than maybe it used to be, I think. So just making sure that everything kind of lines up, make sure that your goals line up all the way through, whether that's customer goals, whether that's employee goals, whether that's culture goals, whatever it may be. Make sure all your goals align, make sure your numbers align, and make sure your people feel that they're important, because they are important.
Yeah, I think you just do. I think I like, from what I'm hearing, is just you stay very dynamic with it, regardless of the situation. You roll with the punches.
You do.
You don't overscale. You cut back. It's all about efficiency. And I think just staying fluid throughout the whole, knowing that things are going to happen that are out of your control, and working with them.
I mean, in today's world, the term, that's the exact term, it is fluid, daily. I mean, you have to be able to adapt on a daily basis to new challenges that may come about. And if you're not able to shift and adapt very quickly, you're probably going to be left behind.
I think that's perfect. So ultimately, in the end, adapt or die. Yep. Take care of your people. Take care of your customers as though they are your people, and your business is already a step ahead.
But to that point, if you're talking about efficiencies and cutting back and things, where people may cut back, they may think to cut back in the wrong areas. You still need to leverage marketing. You still need to leverage technology. All of those components are, as important as they were before, they're more important now, because making sure that your brand is out on the forefront compared to the next guys, that's also key, because in today's world, anybody can call anybody or email anybody just as easily as someone else. And what makes them want to choose you is because it's easy for them to do business with you. That's the biggest key today. How easy is it for someone to do business with you? If it's not easy, if it's complicated, if it's challenging, they're just going to go to someone else. And so leveraging all of that and making sure that your marketing everything is all perfect, or as perfect as it can be, that's key, I think.
Well, that's awesome, Eliot. We appreciate the hell out of you. We're trying to figure out what this podcast is, but with this being our integral launch episode, I think I couldn't think of a better person to be sitting here with.
I appreciate it, and you guys are great, and you guys have always done great, and I'm looking forward to all the fun stuff in the future. Maybe it'll be another Canada trip without passports. Who knows?
Let's go to Mexico.
Let's do it.
No, let's not do that. All right,
I'm ready. Don't ask me twice.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Adios, folks.